Welcome to First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. I'm your host, James Gardner, certified athletic therapist, certified strength and conditioning specialist, yoga instructor, human being. This platform, for the pros, by the pros, anybody in the performance space, and beyond. Welcome here to share in the stories of professionals, experiences, journeys, learning along the way. It's a platform to connect, to network, and to be a part of a community that cares, with conversations that matter, experiences that resonate, and generate ideas, thought-provoking, organic dialogue, passionate pros. Brought to you as always by First Star Therapy, Mobility Tape, Epic, and Benchmark Athletics, in association with the Canadian Athletic Therapists Association. It's First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being a part of it. That's good enough. All right, so let's jump in here. It is Wednesday night, I think, which is the same as Tuesday night, the same as Thursday night, the same as Saturday night, and the same as whatever other nights still exist on a calendar at least. This is Let's Chat, an athletic therapy roundtable. This is session 21. Taking off here, 7:48. We'll go over the ground rules. We are recording for the purposes of going back in time and holding John accountable for everything that he says, predictions as to what's going to happen to the world, when the Marlins are going to win the World Series, all these things.
There you go.
And going back in time to save the world one conversation at a time. If you have any comments, I have a dog barking. I have no way to stop that right now. So this is life in quarantine. If you have any comments, questions for John or for myself, please feel free to type them in or unmute yourself and use the microphone, and we will get rolling. I'll start with the formal, as always, the formal bio, and then jump in, and we will go from here. So our first Major League Baseball athlete on this evening. Real pleasure to have you, John. Really appreciate you taking the time out. I know things are
Thanks for having me.
Strange and different. Yeah, and I'll let you say hi to everybody here in a minute once we get through your bio and give a little rundown on how we know each other as we go. So John attended Troy High School in Troy, Michigan. Now this is a long bio, and this is a long bio intentionally. Not because it's a Major League Baseball player, but because I think this summarizes a lot of people who are on this call. It's analogous to a lot of people on this call in terms of where you're at in your career now, how long things might take, but when you get to that moment, you can really reflect back and really understand that the process is a whole lot more important than the end point until the end point becomes the process. So anyway, let's get back to it. John attended Troy High School in Troy, Michigan, where he played for the school's baseball team. The Oakland Athletics selected John Berti in the 36th round of the 2008 Major League Baseball draft. He didn't sign at that time. He then enrolled at Bowling Green State University, where he played college baseball for the Falcons baseball team. He set single season records with a .423 batting average, 93 hits, pardon the barking, and tied the single season record with 6 triples. His 17 career triples were also a record. In 2010, he played collegiate summer baseball with the Brewster Whitecaps of the Cape Cod Baseball League. The Blue Jays then selected John Berti in the 18th round in 2012. Is that right? Am I right on that year? 2011. The Blue Jays selected him in 2011 in the 18th round with a 559th overall selection. And then in Vancouver, in short season of the Northwest League, he had 23 stolen bases, hit .291, 21 RBIs. In 2012, he played for the Lansing Lugnuts in Class A and the Dunedin Blue Jays in High A. In 110 combined games, he hit .241 with 2 home runs, 40 RBIs, 34 stolen bases. In 2013, Berti played for Dunedin, which is High A again, stole 56 bases, the most in the Florida State League. That offseason, he played for the Canberra Cavalry in the Australian Baseball League in that 2013-2014 ABL season. He stole 31 bases in 46 games, setting a record, and hit .309 with 18 RBI. He stole another 4 bases in the 2013 Asia Series. In 2014, Berti played for New Hampshire, which is Double-A for the Blue Jays organization, stole 38 bases, named an All-Star with the Eastern League, and was assigned to the Arizona Fall League after the regular season. He set career highs in games played, 136, home runs with 7, and RBI with 50. In the offseason, he played 20 games with the Mesa Solar Sox in the AFL, the Arizona Fall League, where he batted .292, hit 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, and 6 stolen bases. He'd split time in 2015 with New Hampshire and then AAA Buffalo. In 103 total games, hit .249, 3 home runs, 34 RBI, and 23 stolen bases. He was invited to Major League Spring Training on January 12, 2016, sort of a pivotal moment, I'm sure, and we'll hear about that. And reassigned to minor league camp on March 10th. He started the season with New Hampshire in Double-A and then was assigned to Buffalo on April 27th, played in 86 total games in 2016, hit .256. 4 home runs, 33 RBI, 36 stolen bases. 2017 with Buffalo and Dunedin, hitting .204 with 3 home runs, 20 RBI, 24 stolen bases in 65 games. In 2018, in April, he was traded to the Cleveland Indians organization for cash considerations. He appeared in 25 games for the AAA Columbus Clippers before being traded back to the Blue Jays on June 8th. The Blue Jays promoted Berti to the major leagues on September 26, 2018, inserted him into the starting lineup that day at second base. Another extremely proud moment, I'm sure. Not that you didn't have a bunch of them along the way. He was designated for assignment on October 5th and outrighted to AAA Buffalo on October 9th. He elected for free agency in November of 2018. In December of 2018, he signed a minor league contract with the Miami Marlins and was invited to spring training. He opened the 2019 season with maybe one of the best names in the league, New Orleans Baby Cakes. On April 20th, his contract was selected and he was called up to the Major League roster. He hit his first Major League home run on May 6th in a 6-5 win for the Marlins. In 2019, he hit .273 with 6 home runs, led the Marlins with 17 stolen bases in 73 games. He also demonstrated his defensive versatility as a rookie with 20 games played as a third baseman, 21 games as a center fielder, and 32 games as a shortstop. Berti became the first player in Marlins history with 20-plus games at each of those positions in the same season. John Berti, appreciate you being on here. The bio, it tells a lot, and I think we can get into any one of those seasons as we go, but I'll let you say hi to everybody and really appreciate you being here this evening and spending some time. So,
Thanks for having me. Hi to everyone who's able to join on. It's cool to see. And just hearing you list off a lot of that just, reminds me of the journey that it's taken to get to this point, obviously, and a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but we're here.
Yeah, man. And I really appreciate you being here. Haven't seen you since, I don't know, I heard you were getting called up because I know some people with the organization still when you were with the Jays. And we were away at the time, or else I would have been trying to knock down the door to say hi. And
I feel like it's been a few years. Probably when you came to Buffalo, maybe one time to visit maybe Dowsey or something like that. I feel like we ran into each other once or twice along the way there. But yeah, it's been we spent a lot of time together in 2012, though.
So 2012, this is where we got to know each other, was in Lansing, Michigan, in the Midwest League. Not a lot of time in the training room, but lots of time, obviously, with the family that becomes teammates, staff members, and all of that in baseball. Your story is one that has so many on-ramps and off-ramps. I think that's crucial for a lot of people to see, and it's analogous with a lot of people's careers. Sometimes when we're talking with pro athletes, and first of all, giving us insight into your life is really appreciate that. So we don't need to get into too many personal things, but in your professional career, so many, like I mentioned, up, down, over there, back here again. And how did you manage to sort of stick to nose to the grindstone and get to where you're at now? Like what goes on in your head to keep you sort of middle or level headed?
Yeah, I mean, I would be lying if I said that there was ever a chance that I wasn't didn't think about giving up or giving in. But early in my career, it was a little easier for the most part because I played well early on and I felt like I was moving up at a pretty good pace. So my goal was always to be into the big leagues by the time I was 25 years old. And obviously I didn't make my debut until I was 28. So there's a little bit of a gap there. And I think those years between when I was in my mid-20s going on into my later 20s, that, you know, that was when it was really difficult and could be very stressful. But what I kind of always told myself is, hey, if they give you a jersey, you have an opportunity. If you have an opportunity, then I'm going to keep going for it until that opportunity is not there anymore. So that was kind of my mindset: is you got a jersey, you got a chance. So I just keep working and see what happens, because, you know, at the end of the day, I would never want to look back on my career or in my life and think, you know, what could have happened. I would have rather not succeeded by giving it all I had. And if I just didn't have it, I just didn't have it. The opportunity had passed me by. I could live with that, but I wouldn't live with the fact that it'd be tough to live with the fact that maybe I left something on the table there.
Yeah, and for, you know, for a younger guy, still, even though
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
a little bit later than you wanted it to be or anticipated it to be, to hear you speak about that, like we, all of the guests that we've had on have talked about, you know, mistakes, and not necessarily that you've made mistakes, but
No, I'm sure I've made plenty.
you know, like, yeah, but like even if the way that you look at it, your perspective is sort of like there's setbacks along the way, but there's always something to learn from those.
Hmm.
What were some of the things that you learned in some of the conversations, like as you're getting sent down or moved up? Are those dialogues pretty clear in terms of why and things that you have to work on, or were some of them pretty muddy along the way? And you don't have to get into specifics of which.
A little bit of both. There definitely were times where I felt like I was playing well enough, or I was put myself in a position to be in a better spot than what I was, and so that could be frustrating, especially, as you know, with especially with baseball being so many levels to the minor league system, and certain guys get called up sometimes or sent down, and it can be confusing because then you see another guy with similar stats or whatever getting called up, and you're thinking, well, I'm as good or if not better than that guy, but why is he getting called up? So I learned early on to not give in or look into that kind of stuff too much, to learn to control what I can control, and what I can control is my effort and my attitude. So if I came to the park every day with a good attitude, being a good teammate, and worked as hard as I could, that's what I could control. And baseball is a game of a lot of lack of control, where you can do everything right and not get a hit that day, or you know, different things like that. So you learn very quickly to focus on the things you can control, and do those to the best of your ability. And do that, like I said, yeah, do that to the best of your ability every day, because it's tough to come to the yard every day when, you know, you play 150 160 games, if you're not doing those things right.
Yeah, amazing to hear you say that. Controlling what you know, working with what you can control and leaving the other stuff to sort of fall by,
Hmm.
or where it's going to fall.
Hmm.
That's massive. And so for anybody who doesn't know John, or you want to get to know John, this is a guy who definitely not a wallflower in terms of being on the background, like always a hard worker, first to the field, stayed there for long. And I'm talking just from the time that I knew you.
Hmm.
Not big in stature, but certainly like in heart and hustle and all the intangible things that aren't on the back of a baseball card. You entail all of those things, and I think that would
I
be,
appreciate it.
yeah. Hey, man, you earned it. There's all of these things um, are things that can't be traded, but they also can't be stamped on the back of a baseball card and captured.
Hmm.
The fact that you've been up, down, all around, been on in multiple organizations, and are now, you know, hopefully, as if the season comes back around this year, or in the future, a
Yep.
mainstay in the big leagues, because that's a thing that every younger player can learn from, and I think people in all
Hmm.
facets of life can learn from: stick-to-itiveness. You know, I think the Red Sox came up with, and we had George Poulos on here a couple weeks ago, and
Hmm.
he talked about,
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah. Talked about being a dirtbag as a trainer, you know, just like always
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. For
learn
sure.
these things. And the Red Sox talked about it from a player standpoint. I think they were the first organization. John's the kind of guy who would run through a wall, and probably has a few in his career, to make a play, or for a teammate, or in support of the game, or to win, or to do these things. And things are yeah, amazing characteristics, amazing traits. I never told you at the time when we were working together that those are the things that I admired about you, and you inspire people like us, you know, trainers in the room, strength coaches, You're the type of person that we want to be around, the type of people that we want to be. So I'll express that to you again. Like this platform for me is also on a personal note to thank all those people who have impacted me in this
I
career.
appreciate it. That means a lot. It means a lot. I appreciate it. Yeah.
But it means a lot that you're here and having this conversation and everything that you do to lead by example. You're the second person I've heard. We are working in the Bahamas, but we're now back in Canada because we left to get back. But we were watching the graduation for the grade 12s. They're just graduating and they had to do like this virtual thing, and the IT department and everybody worked nicely to make it virtual, but live. So all the graduates were in one place. And they were the valedictorian was talking about change and how this is an opportunity for us to change. And if we don't take the opportunity to do something different or to change something about us, and we come out of this thing hoping for things to go back to normal, we haven't really done a good job in terms of growing. So what have you been doing? Let's get away from baseball for a second. What have you been doing in terms of like outside of baseball? Have you picked up anything new? I don't know, play the ukulele or something with Boone?
No, not quite. I'm not very musically gifted. I love music, but not very musically gifted. But coming out of this, I completely agree with what you're saying too. And I've in the past worked on meditating and things like that. So I'm really had more opportunity to really kind of dive into that a little bit more, just because I think it'll be tremendous help for my baseball game anyways, just being more mindful, being more in the moment and being present as best I can. But I think it just also helps so much in life, because especially nowadays with technology and your phone and so many ways to contact people and so many things going on, we get so distracted that we're never fully in the moment. And so it's very, very difficult to do, but doing my best to work on that and to kind of just remind myself as things are going on, when different thoughts creep up, that, hey, get back to the moment, get back to what you're doing. This is the only important thing right now. Anything else will be important when you get to it. So been really working on that. Outside of that, I mean, haven't been able to do a whole lot, just trying to stay in shape and as best I can, and hitting and trying to spend time with family as best we can and as safe as we can as well. So I'm just trying to take advantage of the time I have with them too.
Yeah, awesome. And you look great. So I know looks aren't always everything, but the beard looks good. I think we were anti-beard back in the day. You didn't have one. Maybe you were too young.
Wasn't allowed. I wasn't allowed. I don't think I could have grown it like this though. Not back then.
Yeah, it looks good, man. It looks good. And you talk about mindfulness and you talk about meditation and these kinds of things. It's centering yourself with now. I have this conversation, I think, on a daily basis with our 5-year-old, just about making choices. And if you can get really upset with things right now, or you can just take a couple breaths and let's think about this. Is it worth getting upset about, or is it worth just let's move to something else and come back to it? Or can we really think our way through this and control the things that we can control? Really, really powerful stuff. Brings me to the Netflix question. The Last Dance is obviously massive, and getting into Michael Jordan and what he's been doing and these kinds of things, or was doing at the time. Used a lot of that practice. But have you watched Tiger King? I don't know if it has mindfulness.
Yes, I have. We, my girlfriend and I, binge watched that rather quickly. So unfortunately, that took up maybe just the first week of quarantine, and after that, we were already done with it. So
this is it. We're getting. I just put this in the chat just only because this is a running tally, and it's starting to be yeses at the high end. I think that's like a 5-point for the yeses in these chats, and everybody kind of be like, move on, dude. Like you stop talking about Tiger King. That was like week 2, and whatever. Get over it and move on. But I'm not. I'm going to stick with the question for every guest that comes on, just because I think
I'm sure you've seen it, right?
I haven't, man. I have not watched this.
You haven't?
I haven't even watched the trailer. I haven't even read what it's about on Netflix.
It's crazy. It's crazy. For anyone who's seen it, it's just, you can't make it up. I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah, I feel like if I started watching it, I'd be in trouble, or I'd benefit one way or the other. It's too extreme. So I'm just gonna flip off, and I'll just keep asking the question until I don't know, until I fall off the edge. I guess Netflix just goes kaboom.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's the Marlins now. that ballpark
Hmm.
is a place where if this quarantine, if this thing hadn't happened, I was planning on flying and then driving anyway, back from Bahamas, and I was going to make
Hmm.
Major League Ball. I was going to knock on your door and say, hey, can I get some
Would have been
tickets?
great.
Want to see
Absolutely.
live? How is that stadium? It looks a little crazy on TV. How does it play? How does it feel in terms of a big league field, big league park?
I mean, it's awesome. The playing surface itself is really cool, but starting this year, actually, the dirt's going to be the same, but we have the new turf that it's supposed to be like the newest one, that is supposed to be the closest to grass as possible. The Arizona Diamondbacks have it. We actually played in Arizona last year. And so it's very similar to kind of the way the Rogers Center was or is, but it's not as bouncy, and they don't use like the rubber pellets. It's more of like a, I don't know what, it's not dirt, but it's something more that's supposed to be safer and better for you and stuff. So I was really curious about how that was going to go. And like I said, hopefully this year we were able to get back out there and I can kind of test it out. But the stadium itself is beautiful. It's a retractable roof. It's very big. We actually are moving the outfield, center field wall in maybe about 10 feet or so. But it's still a pretty big park, which plays to my strengths a little bit with my speed, and got a chance to play some center field out there last year, which was really cool. And yeah, anytime we have a good crowd going, it's fun to be at, and it's a fun atmosphere. And Miami's a cool city, so again, luckily we have that retractable roof because of how hot it gets, and the rain, especially around this time of year, it's usually pretty rainy. So we're able to just close that pretty quickly if we need to, or have it open for a nice Miami night.
Yeah, yeah. It looks cool. Like it's like a, I don't know, when they first opened it, they made it look like a theme park a little bit. With a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
things going on in there, and whatever.
yeah.
Miami is a beautiful part of the world, minus the hurricanes and rainy season. So retractable roof goes a long way.
Hmm.
Um, uh, you talk about your speed and sort of utilizing your qualities to get you
Hmm.
where you are and keep you where you are. How do you train, or how do you keep your sort of speed at the forefront of, like, what do you do differently than maybe a pitcher or somebody like that in terms of training, or what do you do for speed? How do you train that
Uh,
personally, and is that
yeah,
guided by your staff, or is that you?
yeah. When I was with the Blue Jays, they did a great job of putting together kind of our off-season program, and then obviously in season, doing the different things to stay ready on a daily basis. Marlins have done the same thing, and I've kind of just continued to follow that guideline of my off-season workout, try to just replicate it. Um, but for me, it's I'm a big believer in, if you train fast, you'll be fast. If you train slow, you'll be slow. So I don't really do as much distance type running, as a lot of pitchers do. I would rather do a lot of short, high energy, high intensity, quick, agility drills or sprint work, because I feel like the more I train my body to move fast and be fast, I will be fast. So a mix of that with different, just making sure to work on my soft tissue work, whether it's with foam roll, or getting, in different grungy areas with the lacrosse ball, or different things like that, definitely have helped to keep my flexibility side of it too, which I think is so key to go along with the strength side. So um, I have my dog here who's trying to say hi right now.
Yeah, that's all right. This is life, right? This is, hey, look at that little Frenchie.
That's Nola.
Yeah,
Yep, little
very
Frenchie.
cool. Nice.
Yep.
A
But
couple of those ones walking by resulted in some big barks today on this end, like I was mentioning, and there was a couple Frenchies that went by. So don't
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I just can't see through, I don't know, two
She
dimensional.
doesn't really. I've only heard her bark once actually, so she doesn't really bark, which is good. But yeah, so doing different things like that has definitely helped maintain my speed, but also has gotten me quicker and faster over the years, because I was always, I know speed is a big part of my game, obviously, and I want to be able to maximize it. So I kind of realized also at a young age to you people sometimes get so wrapped up in improving on your weaknesses that you kind of neglect your strengths a little bit. So I got some advice before, and you always want to improve your weaknesses when you can, but you also need to keep your strengths, because that's what sets you apart from other players or other individuals.
Yeah, amazing advice to hear from somebody who's playing at the highest level, because a lot of times coaches and anecdotally or experientially and therapists or practitioners will go the other way. And sometimes, I found through conversation and dialogue that there are times when change needs to happen, but there's also
Hmm.
times when you don't need to fix what's not broken. So
Hmm.
overworking and overtraining or overreaching, trying to make either everybody look the same or do the same drills or
Hmm.
whatever, sometimes falls on deaf ears that we shouldn't be doing that. It sounds like you've had a ton of good practitioners and strength coaches, and I know some of them.
Hmm.
And I think Drew's still on here, so he'll count as a good one. He might have fallen
Oh
off.
yeah.
He's still there, so we'll count him as a good one. You,
There. What's
you
up,
had
Drew?
me, so I was.
Hey Bert, how are you?
Good, man. Good to hear your
Good.
voice.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
Yeah, so definitely some good ones along the way, and some average
absolutely.
ones along the way. What have you found with strength and conditioning personnel and sort of the performance side,
Hmm.
inclusive of ATC's trainers, that's really worked well in the baseball world in terms of, I don't know, characteristics or um, personality, let's say, from a
Yeah.
person. Yeah, yeah.
I've been very blessed and fortunate when it comes to my different strength coaches and athletic trainers, just having just really good people. And like you said, a lot of them, and majority of the ones that I've ever dealt with were with the Blue Jays and now even with the Marlins. Just a lot of great people and people who I think as players, what we really, really want is number one is communication. I think that is so huge, to be able to communicate what a player, his thoughts and feelings on certain things or how his body's feeling, and being able to have those conversations with with your staff, as well as I think players want to know that they care, right? They want to know that their manager cares. If they're a hitter, I want to know that my hitting coach cares. Athletic trainer and strength coach, it goes the same way. Where if I know you care and you have I believe you have my best interests at heart, there's such a awesome trust factor that becomes from that, and that you're able to develop that relationship. So if I come to the field one day and I'm like, hey James, or go to a strength coach, let's say, and say, hey man, like, um my calf's kind of bugging me today. I know we got this kind of work in, like, is there any way we can modify it a little bit, or whatever, and we can have a conversation to where then I feel comfortable with how things are going, and I don't feel like um, you know I'm being attacked or whatever. So I think communication, and I think building that relationship develops a lot of trust amongst you, and I think those are a lot of things that I really have enjoyed with most all of my strength coaches and athletic trainers, and I've been very fortunate for it.
Yeah, wow. I think it's a massively critical area to ask our athletes what works and doesn't work, and that answer just encapsulates so much. And appreciate the depth of it, and it's not something you had to think about in terms of
Hmm.
what works, what doesn't as an
Hmm.
athlete. We've talked with a lot of different practitioners on here, and that's kind of been our running theme, to be honest. It's just been, if we can figure out a way, if we can ask the right questions to get to know John Berti a little bit better on a daily
Hmm.
basis, regardless of his baseball prowess or the position he's playing, or what, just understanding which sock you put on first. It allows us
Hmm.
to know a little bit, allows us to know. I think it's still the left, but
Yeah, there you go.
but if there's one thing that we can pick up on a daily basis to build that trust factor, that goes a massively long way, both ways. Because
Hmm.
you're going to come and you're going to trust in us, and we're going to trust that you're going to let us know when there's things that are hampering you or you don't like, or whatever those things like. Do you find that there's um, I don't want to say the wrong terms. I don't want to lead you the wrong way, but is there still some dynamics within baseball where people won't go to trainers or won't go to strength coaches on teams that you've been on?
I think it's gotten a lot better over the years, and I think the teams I've been on, like I said, I've been very fortunate to have very good ones, great ones, and so I think that has helped to where, like you talked about, so then the trust that I have, where if my calf is bothering me, I can come to you and say, hey, calf's kind of bugging me. I can still play, but can we do a little something to help alleviate it without feeling like you're going to immediately shut me down and say, well, you can't play tonight, and then but we can work through it, as opposed to me just acting like everything's fine because I don't, let's say I didn't trust in the process, and I just go out there and play instead and don't get the proper treatment. Then all of a sudden I blow out my calf, and then I'm missing a lot more time than what would have been needed. So I'm sure it still goes on a little bit, just because, there's still a little bit of that stigma or mentality of being, a tough guy and don't want to, come off weak, or don't want the team to think that, I'm in the training room all the time. But I think it's gotten a lot better over the years, where guys are more willing to say, hey, listen, like, I still want to play, but I need a little bit of help in this area, which I think helps in the long run too.
Yeah. And you bring it up, and it's obviously more than anecdotal. It's experiential for you, and you've been on a lot of teams. You've been in a lot of different levels with a lot of different personnel, and I think that bodes so well for everybody that's on here as a practitioner, or just anybody viewing, is there's a lot of experience here, and to not take the athlete's word for gospel, for lack of a better term, just doesn't make sense. There has to be a lot of stock put in what you're telling me when I'm asking you how you're feeling and can you go. For me to determine can you or can't you go without really anything concrete doesn't make much sense. So that comes back to that trust factor. Obviously, from a clinical standpoint, we would need to understand how the calf functions for what you do, your position, how you bat, run, do these things, throw, and then to make that decision with you as opposed to for you, especially at the major league level. One thing I found in the minor leagues, and that's only where I spent some limited weeks with the major league team, but in the minor leagues, is there was a lot of guys at the lower levels that would kind of push things aside and not tell us about them for fear of, being labeled as that guy who's complaining, or that not
making excuses, or
yeah. And so there was always, looking back on my career, and in those years, I wish I had more conversations with guys about, how you're feeling, and let's have these discussions. But I also found that as the year went on, and as guys saw the interactions with the strength and conditioning and the performance personnel, that trust gets built based on, Dowsey and me going into Walmart and doing the 12-minute shop to make sure we had the right peanut butter and the right I don't know, cheap spices or whatever. I just look back on those days and I just like,
we had a great group there.
Yeah. Do you still talk to anybody from those from that team?
Yeah. I talked to Andy Burns quite a bit. Him and I are close. He's back with the Blue Jays in AAA. He was in big league camp.
Red Hot Burnsy.
Yes, exactly. Oh yeah. Can't forget that. I keep in touch with Shane Opitz. He's not playing anymore. He's an assistant coach at I think it's Northern Colorado University. Still lives in the Denver area. I run into Kevin Pillar every now and then, and we text a little bit sometimes. Trying to think, Kevin Patterson.
Yeah.
He's actually my financial advisor.
Yeah, and a big guy. What a guy.
Big boy.
Yeah.
But a few other guys probably here or there, but those are probably the ones I'm closest to.
Okay, cool. Very cool. I was just kind of scanning. I'm so bad with phones that I think I've since Lansing, I think I probably had 8 or 10 phones, and they're all broken, and the same thing happens. I can't find a case that can hold me at this point. I'm trying to break back into my BlackBerry from that then, because I took a bunch of pictures in my phone that I really want to get back just to recall photos and memories from that time. I remember. Anyway, I was just talking to I don't think it was the same year, but you were in the organization at the same time with Marcus Connect, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I still once in a while we talk and catch up and stuff. Yeah. I love Connect.
Okay. Yeah. So we message back and forth, and our common ground is JD. So Dowsey and I are very, very close, and Marcus and him are talking on a regular basis. But the other day he messaged me and he's like, "Hey, are you back?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm back. I'm in Toronto." And he's like, "Where in Toronto?" And I told him where we're living, and he lives just 5 minutes from here. So we're gonna go.
No way.
Yeah. So on Tuesday,
awesome.
We're gonna go to the park, and my son, who's snuck down actually 2 floors and is now lying on the floor over here, and me we're gonna go play catch with Marcus in the park up
That's
the
awesome.
house on
That's so awesome.
Tuesday afternoon. So it'll be cool.
That's cool.
In here. So, hey. So
what's up?
Here he is. He's just sneaking down to say hi, right? Yeah. So really cool. Okay, go back in your pillow bed. Sorry. There's nothing we can do. Everybody's on Zoom calls right now, and we got a pillow bed over here on the floor amidst all of the outfits down here. But yeah, super cool. You meet a lot of cool people along the way, and teammates teammates last. You know, it becomes your well, for lack of a better term, it becomes your family. You know, you're so engrossed with time and travel and all those things. How do you balance in terms of your life when I'm going to ask this as a two-party question. So let me ask this. Mine just does this every time I start thinking. You can bear witness too. How do you balance when a regular season is going on, your life away from baseball? How does that work? You obviously have to have a good support system.
Yeah, I'm so fortunate with my amazing family and friends and girlfriend that I have, and how supportive they are and how understanding they are of the toll that this career kind of takes on your life, just from time consuming, your focus, your energy. You have to do so much to be able to be successful in this game. And so they all understand that really, really well. And so, you know, a lot of times friends or stuff, we aren't able to catch up as much as we would during the off season, but like I said, they know that. And when we do catch up, it's awesome and it's great. But usually a lot of that has to unfortunately stay in the off season. But my family does a great job of coming to visit too. They love the game of baseball and love watching me play. So my parents have seen me basically play in almost every stadium that I've ever played in, really. Yeah. So that's a big part of it too. And they really enjoy the travel and to get away a little bit.
Yeah, and based on your career in terms of like all the places you've been, and for anybody who's not familiar, baseball's off season is fairly long, but not after a long and grueling season outdoors in the summer heat, with all the time you spend on the field, aside from, especially in the minor leagues, big leagues too, but in the minor leagues, you're spending so many hours above and beyond just gameplay on the field, at the stadium, in the gym, these kinds of things. And then you went on for multiple seasons through your career to play more baseball in the off season. Do you feel like continually playing really helps you sort of stay up and keep up, or are you at a point now where you're like, yeah, I'm going to use the off season for something a little bit different?
I think both, especially younger in my career. I think it helped me to develop quicker and to improve in a lot of areas that needed to be improved in order to get to the big leagues. So I took full advantage of that, especially being young. It was really awesome to go play and live in Australia for 4 months and to be able to explore that country and how beautiful it was, and a great experience that was. And then the following year going to the Arizona Fall League, where playing with the best, you know, prospects in Major League Baseball and the competition, which is awesome to really put yourself up against that and see where you're at in your career. But yeah, now, especially the last few years, the off season's gotten a little shorter just because the big league season's longer and stuff. So I've just really focused on taking a little time to myself and be able to spend that time with family and friends and to rest and recover a little bit more, and then start to build my body back up for the long season, I think is also equally as important.
Yeah, and we had Frosty on and Voon on and George on from a trainer's perspective. Baseball is, I don't know if it's got to be probably the most, I'm not overreaching here, but it's got to be the most affected by this time, I think. The COVID times and everything being shut down based on like schedule and calendaring and these kinds of things. Because for people who haven't worked in baseball, it is such a rigid calendar. Like we're at June 10th. Which would put you probably somewhere around game, I don't know, 50 of the season at this point.
Yeah.
40-ish, somewhere there. And every day you're used to, you know, flying every 6 to 8 days, another city, coming back, going on the road, doing these things. The adjustment to staying home has got to be really hard. Like I think of somebody like I mean, you're pretty close to it now. Like I was talking to Boone and Frosty and George, like they're lifers in the game, so you're used
Yeah.
to routine.
Hmm.
Has this been, and I know you talked about the mental side of things in terms of training your brain and training your mentality to sort of just stick with what you can control. Has it been really tough for you in terms of like just spending that much time together with your girlfriend, with your dog, with the things that you're not typically used to in these months? Has it been tough for you?
It's actually been really really good overall. I think because I'm sticking to a typical off season routine. So obviously I'm not able to. We haven't been able to go out to dinner or do some different things or travel like what we like to do during the off season. But keeping my schedule, my workout plan, the workouts that I'm doing, and different things like that, keeping that as consistent as possible with the off season, it's helped me to make it still feel like a little bit of the off season. Obviously, it's still been really difficult because I didn't think things were going to last as long as they had. When they shut things down, I was like,
Yeah.
just not knowing much, I guess, about the situation. I was like, because I'm so focused on playing, and I was so focused on spring training and the ramping up for a big league season, that I thought, okay, I'll be home for a couple weeks, maybe a month at most, and then back at it. Obviously, we're going on the month 3.
Yeah.
So, right?
Yeah, maybe.
April, May, June.
Yeah, getting into
3,
4.
right? Yeah. So
Who knows?
that's been tough because obviously, like you said, so used to that strict routine of going different places and playing and being at the field all day and seeing my teammates and stuff like that. That's definitely been a big transition. But overall, I mean, for what a lot of people are going through during this time, I mean, I can't say anything, but it's been good.
Yeah. All right. Well, good to hear, and I'm glad that that's a positive for you. I just scanned to see where Drew was at. His camera's off, but I'm just guessing he's working on like rotator cuff stuff and like some mobility work with his kid while he's home.
Oh, absolutely.
Trying to stay up on whatever it is that he's doing in the Jays organization. There he is. Look at him. He's outside right now working on his
Garbage. It's garbage day.
garbage day. Okay, all right, that's good. But rotator cuff garbage or something, like pick it up with the right muscles.
Right, there you go.
But yeah, tough getting away from the game for this much time, I'm sure. But hopefully, again, we can get back to that. I haven't watched any of it, but I saw Korea has like stuffed animals in the crowd in the stadium.
I did see that too. Yeah.
And no calls yet from the Marlins asking you to send your favorite stuffies, or no?
Not yet. Waiting for that call. Waiting for that along with when we're ready to ramp up again or head to spring training 2.0. But I'll try to pick some good ones out and bring them down for them too.
All right, let us know, because we're big into making sure that things we're not using anymore, we're going to donate and somebody else can use. So we got some extras if you need some.
There you go. Perfect.
You do have a couple extra fans up this way too, just to let you know and reiterate that. If and when the season gets going, I'm going to catch you live at a big league stadium, 100%. I don't know if it'll be in Miami, but maybe up this way.
Well, hopefully. I mean, the way they were kind of talking about the divisions, there's a chance that they do. I don't know what they're going to do. They haven't said anything, but there was a rumor about having 3 divisions and kind of separating the country into thirds. Yeah. And so the way they've made it look, Toronto was in our division. So that'd be really cool if we end up playing this year, to fly up to play in the Rogers Center again.
Yeah. From the other side, from the other dugout, which would be
exactly. Yeah.
Which would be interesting. I always I love that now, looking back. Like, we had so much talent, yourself included, in the Lansing years, that now we look through the big leagues and there's so many guys from that Blue Jay organization when you came, 2011, those drafts in 10, 11, 12, that are in the big leagues now. Super cool. I'm sure you run into all those guys. Carlos is playing with the Orioles, I think, and a whole bunch of guys across the big leagues. So super cool to be on the other side and just kind of that journey that's been wherever you end up, but here you are. Your journey is one, like I mentioned earlier, that started and then you turned down being drafted right by the A's the first time you go to college, and then got drafted again higher, I think, by the Blue Jays afterwards, 2011. What was that process like for you in terms of decision making to turn it down with the A's, and then the second time around with the Blue Jays? How does that work as a player, if you can go back in time?
So when I got drafted out of high school, I really wasn't expecting to get drafted. So it was actually a really cool moment. It was really awesome to to be drafted. I had a really good senior year in high school, but, I never was told by any scouts or anything that I was, being had a chance to be drafted. So that was really cool. But in talking with the scout that had drafted me, and they weren't going to be able to offer a whole lot of money to me being such a late round. So I thought it was the best interest for my future to um, go to school and take the scholarship at Bowling Green, which and then the goal was to play there for 3 years and get drafted in a position after my junior year, to be able to leave school maybe early. And fortunately, I had a great experience for those 3 years at Bowling Green, and I was able to get drafted by the Blue Jays in the 18th round, and then that's when I was able to start my pro ball career. I was actually talking to someone the other day about this too, about the differences between the draft day, with draft day or today, actually tonight, the MLB draft is going on. And so someone had asked me of being drafted twice, and it was just weird how the first time I was drafted, it was super exciting because it came out of nowhere. I had no expectations and it was awesome. The second time I was drafted, it was draft day. I still remember, by the Blue Jays, it was stressful, and it was more because of my expectations were I was going to be a top 10. I was going to get drafted they were telling me between rounds 8 and 10, maybe 11 at the latest. And all of a sudden round 11 came, 12, 13, all of a sudden 15, and I hadn't been drafted yet. And so that was more of a stressful time. And I still remember going, my dad and I were sitting by the computer, and he's like, "Hey, let's just go outside." And him and I just kind of shot hoops to kind of get away from it a little bit, and just to kind of center myself. And that's when I got a call from the Blue Jays, just before the 18th round, and they asked, if I would be willing to sign for so and so if they draft me. And I just told them, "Hey, I just want an opportunity. I'm just ready to play, ready to move to the next level." And with the very next pick, the Blue Jays took me.
Amazing. And to walk us through that, what a cool story. And you even bring up in that some parallels to to therapists and to people who aren't necessarily athletes waiting to get drafted, but just waiting for either that next step or the job, or trying to find the right fit in terms of where they're working. So some really cool stuff. Sometimes our expectations really enhance the stress levels and those kinds of things. And I'm coming back down full circle to your statement earlier about centering yourself and controlling the controllable and leaving the rest to fall where it may. Has that made its way into baseball at all? Mindfulness, meditation, these kinds of things uniformly, or is that a personal choice?
It's a personal choice, but I think it's definitely, I've talked to more guys and myself doing it and enjoying it. I've talked to other teammates who have tried it. Some have liked it, some haven't. And teams have encouraged different things like that. The brief time I was with the Indians, for the couple months I was there in AAA, we had someone come in and kind of talk to the team a little bit about some different techniques for recovery purposes, to help promote your sleep and help. I think that's kind of really getting into the game a lot more, too, is recovery than even it was when I first got drafted. And meditation and mindfulness was one of the things they talked about that can help really recharge you and things like that. So I think baseball, and I believe other sports too, are starting to kind of move in that direction of rest and recovery, and not only for your body but for your mind as well.
Yeah, amazing. It's a central component that I think more and more is come to the forefront again. And like in these times too, we really have to check in with ourselves and with what our expectations are on a day-to-day basis, as well as like overall where we're trying to get to, and have those inner dialogues and outward dialogues as well, with those that we support and those that we live with and all those kinds of things. So really cool stuff. Glad to hear that you're into that. I spent just to update you, because I don't think I told you, but I spent a month at an ashram in the Bahamas in 2019, and I'm now, I don't want to say yoga instructor, but have implemented yoga philosophy into my living and into my routines, and it's gone a long way in terms of enhancing my outlook, my repertoire in terms of the way that I see athletes and recovery and training. So it's not that everybody, it's not for everybody to do physical yoga, but the the mentality of it all to tie back into that central purpose of getting a little bit more introspective.
That's really cool.
Certainly, yeah, it's resonated with me. So it's cool that that you talked about it. The other divine intervention piece is timing, and no such thing as coincidence. But of course, you come on draft night. Are you watching it or no?
No. I think it started around 7. I know we took a right-handed pitcher out of the University of Minnesota, I believe. So, so good for us. Hopefully, his minor league career maybe is a little shorter than mine, and we can get him up to the big leagues and help us win some games there. But no, I haven't turned it on or anything. I just got a few updates on my phone.
Okay, yeah, cool, very good. So sometimes I don't know. I just wonder sometimes if everybody turns it on and watches it just to see what your team's doing. I'm sure you'll find out about it either way. But I had a buddy just text me as I was trying to get on here, and he's like, "Hey, just to keep you updated," he sent me like I don't know a big long text.
The Jays make a draft pick or something.
Yeah, I don't know. He's like, just in case you want to be in the loop, here's what's happening with the Jays. And I'm like, all right, thanks. I appreciate you getting me back in the loop. I have no idea. Drew does. He's got them written in his hand, I think. And he's
there you go, yeah.
His phone's probably blowing up over there too. So, yeah, great stuff, man. Great insight. Hey, listen, a really good question came in that I'll read to you. If you could change one thing about the minor leagues, aside from increased pay, what would you like to see done differently? For an example, in parentheses, Jeff has said more support staff, better access to good food, more games, less games. What things come to mind in terms of your minor league experience?
I think a lot of I can't say a lot of teams because I've played in the minor leagues for 3 different organizations with the Blue Jays, the Indians, and briefly with the Marlins. I would say you kind of touched on it. I would say kind of better access to, I think a lot of the facilities need to be upgraded, and better access to better food. And I know at the end of my last few years with the Blue Jays, they really started to try to ramp up the nutrition side of things. And I think other Indians as well, and the Marlins as well, were also trying to do that. So I don't know if that's something that Major League Baseball is doing as a whole or if teams are doing it individually. But I think, as you know, from our times in Lansing, the spreads we had and the stuff, the budget just isn't what it is as you move up, and especially in the big leagues. But for, I think, organizations to get the best out of their players and to help improve them, because 99.9% of all major leaguers played some sort of minor league baseball. There's an exception of a couple guys, I think, that signed and went right to the big league. So I would feel like you want those players to be have the access to good food and have access to proper equipment and the facility being upgraded. Not saying that it has to be kind of a top notch like the big leagues is, but there's so many clubhouses that you go into and it's just so small or run down or clearly needs to be upgraded that I think could go a long way in helping the development of the player and just make the minor league experience that much better than it is.
Yeah. So many good points. And for those of you that haven't worked in the minor leagues, a lot of people have worked with amateur sport, and I'm sure they've been exposed to that, or different sports and been exposed to that. I've talked about this, not ad nauseum, but on a regular basis, and including while we're in the working in baseball. And I just drew this diagram because I'm really good at drawing, but it's it's a little inverted thing, where the resources, it's 2 triangles where at the top part, it feels inverted sometimes in terms of all the resources that go into Major League Baseball. And then you have the most players down in minor league baseball, but you're using, from a training standpoint or from a therapy standpoint, it's typically younger trainers, younger therapists who are just coming out, and the 30, 40, 25-year veterans are up at the big leagues. And I get that that's kind of a path and a journey, but I feel like the most impact can really be made in those minor league years, where there's more players and that, but all the money and the the reality of the entertainment business is all at the top. So it makes sense from that standpoint. But I don't know, looking at a way to sort of filter it a little bit differently. And you touched on a lot of good points when it came to food. I know the Blue Jays started overhauling things when I was still working there. And the Indians really did. I think they were leading the charge when it came to that, at least in the Midwest League when we were there. We'd pull into Lake County and they'd have their spread out for their guys. And then Yeah. We'd order, I don't know, what was it, Little Caesars or something like that.
Something, yeah, whatever you could get your hands on, really.
Yeah. Until the end of one season that we were there, they started sending over spread and just saying like, pay us and we'll make sure that your guys get nice food. And I think it sort of went league wide to sort of enhance things, which is great. You know, you got to,
Mm-hmm.
if we don't change, then we just stay the same. And if things stay the same, then they don't change. So it's nice to see organizations investing in some of these things and baseball sort of, moving the old guard. It used to be a sport that was very slow to change. You know, this old guy used to be a pretty good stretch in baseball for a long time.
Oh yeah,
We'll do a couple
done
of
many of those. Yeah.
Then fire it out there and see how it goes. So good to hear, man. In terms of your travel through the National League, favorite yards away from Marlins or away from their home?
I gotta say, my favorite place that I've played at so far outside of Marlins Park would have to be Wrigley Field. I hit my first career home run there, which was awesome. Something I'll never forget. And it was really cool too because the fan threw it back right away, so I ended up getting to keep the ball. So got the ball back right away, and it was super cold when we went, but just the history there, and just to be playing there, and seeing the way the stadium's set up and how different it's set up compared to other places like the New York Mets Citi Field. That's a beautiful cathedral type ballpark where it's built straight up and it's huge, but then at Wrigley it's kind of built more outwardly. It's not very tall relative to the way the stadiums are built now, and just the way the history was. I mean, it was pretty cool to have that experience.
Yeah, amazing. And they must not have known it was your first, or you would have ended up in like
I thought I was gonna have to pay for it or something.
Yeah, nice, amazing. And what a story. First home run. It was in a win. It wasn't a walk-off though, right? It was
no.
Yeah, but it was in a win, and it was
a win. Yep.
Yeah, and it was a one-run win, and you hit it in Wrigley in a cold day, and that's not foreign to you. You're from a northern state. You spent a lot of time in the snow, and who said that Midwesterners in the cold winters couldn't play baseball? Nobody. So
right.
You made it. That's great. What an amazing story. Do you remember who the home run was off of?
Yeah, I mean, it was off of Cole Hamels. So former Cy Young Award winner, probably a Hall of Fame type pitcher. So to do it off him too made it even better.
Oh wow, you've done it, man. Amazing to have that on your resume. Nobody on this call can say that they've hit a home run off Cole Hamels, I don't think, or at Wrigley Field for that matter, or I don't know, maybe I've ever even hit a home run. I think the only home run that I ever hit was it was at a field that didn't have a fence, and the ball just kept rolling.
And
I think I just kept running, and then that was it. And then I think it might have been runners on base, but anyway, it was that's it. Not even close to getting a ball thrown back at Wrigley Field. That must have been fantastic. Where do you have that ball stored?
It's at my parents' house right now. Got a nice little case for it, but gonna figure out where I wanna keep it for the future. But I have a lot of my old memorabilia, some different things. First pro home run, first big league hit, a lot of things like that still over there and at my parents' house, and gonna figure out maybe build a man cave or something. I don't know, and kind of display some of this stuff. But
yeah, wait on that until you're done. You don't.
There you go.
Yourself until you're done, because
there you go.
A lot of great stuff ahead of you, man. I can't wait to see you play again on TV. I'll be tuning in. And like I said, I'm gonna catch you at one field or another as soon as I
Perfect.
can.
You let me know.
Yeah, I will definitely let you know. And we can talk afterwards. I got a couple ideas that maybe we can share back and forth. Going back to some of the stuff you talked about earlier, just in your off-season training and your mental readiness and stuff. I got a lot of resources and things. If you're interested, don't feel like
absolutely.
And then I'm looking, as I looked up from my screen, and you're talking about all your memorabilia. I see James's baseball memory box is right there, and it's only one box. It's small, and none of it is from playing. But I collected hats. Minor league hats, because I always thought the logos were amazing. So from the Midwest, every time we went to a stadium, a different team, I found a way to work with the trainer to get a hat, and it'll be up on a display at some point.
That's awesome.
Maybe in this basement, but hey, who knows? All right, great. As a major league player, question just came in. As a major league player, what are your typical interactions with the therapy staff on a regular day? How involved are they with your warm up, cool down routines? ATCs, I guess, is specific, but you can go into strength and
Say
conditioning.
that again. What was for ATC?
Yeah.
So it depends. I see the guys every day. When I first get to the ballpark, I say hi to the guys and stuff like that. But it depends on when I was dealing with a little bit of a hamstring injury last year. The hamstring didn't keep me out of any games, but when that was kind of bugging me, I was obviously in the training room more often. So they were helping me with different things to help get my body loose. But then after that, I kind of developed a routine where I'd get in the hot tub at the ballpark for about 10 minutes before. From there, going into the weight room, kind of doing a lot of my soft tissue mobilities type stuff just to get my body loose for the day. And then that's when I would go into my routine of going to the cage or going to get my early ground balls before batting practice starts and stuff like that. And then post game, and throughout the day, you as you know, James, you run into everyone and, they're in the dugout with you. And if something small comes up or whatever, work with them then. But then after the game, again, I kind of developed a routine. I like the ice tub for about 10 minutes. But before getting in the ice tub, I would usually do a little bit of soft tissue stuff, maybe touch on a few things here or there that are maybe a little grungy areas or something, but try not to do too much just because I want my body to kind of rest and recover and get ready for the next day. But when healthy, you see them less often. When you're not as healthy or banged up, I see them a little more often. But with the clubhouse, the way it's set up, you see everybody all the time. So, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, definitely. Your experiences are warranted. We talk a lot about like integrated models and these kinds of things and being able to step in and out of various roles. I always found it super valuable to be able to rely on the strength coach to cover a little bit off in the training room in terms of like, just taking little things like being able to wrap an ice bag or wrap a tensor bandage around somebody. And then from an ATC standpoint, it is divided in terms of what your roles are, which makes sense because everybody's not everywhere. But I always like that integrated model, get out on the third baseline, first baseline, help out the strength coaches during warm up. And do those kinds of things and just see how guys are moving and those kinds of things. It's not unavailable, but in the big leagues, typically, I think what happens is the trainers stay in the training room and the strength coaches go out on the field.
Yeah.
With all the work. Yeah, that's about how it goes in baseball, but that's not to say that has to be that way. Yeah. And then you talk on some of those things. A lot of good resources in Major League Baseball. What does the staff look like with the Marlins? How big is the medical staff? What practitioners do you guys?
So we have our head trainer, and then 2 assistants, and then a PA as well, and then another kind of I guess so probably about 6 guys total.
Yeah.
I was just getting to know the new staff. We're kind of have some new guys this year. So the first few weeks of spring training, I was trying to get to know them a little bit more and stuff like that and their backgrounds. But obviously then we got kind of cut short. So obviously a lot bigger than in the minor leagues where there's just one, So we're fortunate, obviously, in the big leagues to get a lot more. And I don't know, maybe it would help minor league strength coaches and trainers to maybe have a little more help, just because you're dealing with the same size team as at the big league level, but it's just usually just yourself.
Yeah. It's an interesting one and one that certainly from experience I acknowledged and sort of wondered about during my career in baseball, and then afterwards, if in the minor leagues you were there as a minor leaguer, it's the same almost as a player as it is as a staff. You have a lot of things to do outside of just game coverage, so therapy staff and training staff, you're making flights and helping people all the other things for people traveling, hotel bookings, grocery shopping on the road, these kinds of things that the big league guys don't have to do, but the big league guys have to answer a lot more bells in terms of front office staff being in and out of the training room, wondering what's going on, big decisions, big money on the line, these kinds of things, wins and losses, all these kinds of things. But really good stuff to appreciate you giving us the insight into how it works from a big leaguer now. Amazing to every time I see your name, and Jason was great. He'd keep me up to date all the time when you were with the Blue Jays. Bert just got called up. He's going to be up. He's going to play tonight. I was ecstatic to hear that, man. Just what a good guy and a hard worker, and nobody in the world deserves it more than you. So congratulations.
I appreciate it.
I know it's a little late, but congratulations.
No, all good.
And I look forward to this thing. I'm gonna be there. I can't wait to see you play live again, man. What a great guy.
Yeah.
This is the not even to compare, but like the hustle and the amount of effort that went into everything that you did and do, I can assume, is just you leave nothing out there and then come back tomorrow and do it again. Just kind of worry about nothing.
Just how I was brought up to play the game and to, you know, do my best to live my life that way. So
yeah. Wow, amazing insight, and you've given us so much just from your experience and time tonight. Really appreciate you being here, and for everybody else who's here. Obviously, we just got a message saying we should have a Let's Chat, which is, you know, the name of this thing, field trip to go see you play. Which I wouldn't be.
That sounds great.
Anybody who's on board for that one when this thing allows, let's hunker down and make that happen. We'll catch you. We drove from Florida, and the idea again was like, okay, if this COVID thing hadn't ever evolved or happened, I was going to drive from Florida all the way up and catch a bunch of major league parks, because that was one thing when I was working in baseball. You just can't get to major league parks because you're going to minor league parks all the time, and the Marlins park is definitely on my list. So, but anyway, great idea, Kat. I think that you'll have some people that are interested in that. And John, maybe by then we'll have our T-shirts made, and we'll just have like your name on them as well. So that'll
perfect.
Sounds good. Chat with Berti on the back, or maybe Berti on the front. How cool was that Players Day that I don't know when that started, but you had like your nicknames on the jerseys, and you had that posted up. Birdman was
Birdman. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, that was awesome. That was a fun weekend. I mean, it was awesome. A lot of fun to be able to it was the jerseys. I don't know if you saw, I felt weird wearing all white. And so I don't know what this year, if we were, obviously we had it planned again, but I don't know what jerseys what the color scheme was going to be like this year, but it was really cool to kind of a change of pace. And I think the fans really enjoyed it too.
Yeah. The number of times that Marlin has changed shape and the colors of that organization. I don't know. Maybe it's just Miami. You need to keep it fresh because it's that kind of
there you go. Yeah.
Feel like they're getting into the fluorescent colors now too, or maybe I missed the boat. That happened a long time ago, but anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah. If anybody has if anybody has any questions for John, I'm not going to keep him here too long. It's almost we're passing an hour, so I appreciate you taking the time out. I know the dog's probably got to get out, and you know, you're sitting around. You got to go do some things. You're allowed out now, so that's nice. Lucky for
that's
you.
Nice, sir.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more days before we're allowed out, so I'll catch you at that point. But big league, from the minor leagues to the big leagues. Some lessons that you've learned in terms of maintenance from various trainers or various strength coaches. Does anything resonate that are sort of like take homes that you've heard, or just the way that you take has developed?
I think it's just as I've maybe it's been, you know, around a while, but I just didn't know, you know, just my, you know, we called it getting activated for the day, right? Getting your body going. You know, in college, I didn't really do anything. It was, you know, I was 19, 20 years old. First few years of pro ball, when, you know, getting with the Blue Jays, kind of wanting us to start to develop that routine. And that routine went from maybe spending 5 minutes in the weight room or the training room to kind of get my body going to the day, through to the getting my body going for the day, to now I don't try to do too much, but I can spend 25 or 30 minutes kind of doing different things on a daily basis, just to get going and just to make sure that I'm kind of preparing my body the best I can so that I can prevent injuries. And so I think that's definitely developed over the past 10 years of playing pro ball.
All right, that's key, because I was gonna go like, just do this a couple times,
right? Yeah.
See how you go.
That's how I used to do it.
I think we all did, and I probably instructed that at some point. And hey, maybe it'll come back around. It's like history repeats itself anyway. So right. At some point we're gonna move back to like this static thing being really, really good before you do stuff. But I was on a call earlier this week, and we were talking about prep. So it's really cool that you bring it up. Doing how valuable that prep is. Do your mornings, like before you get to the field, typically you'll go to the field around what time for a night game, like midday?
Usually around usually around noon.
Yeah,
I usually go to the field and grab lunch, eat at the field, and just kind of start my day that way. But yeah, probably usually around noon for a 7 o'clock game.
Yeah, and this is a guy that I wouldn't expect anything less from you. I'm sure some guys are rolling in around 3 or 4, which is fine, but you've spent your time making yourself into what you are, and keep with your routines. I think that goes a long way. When you first wake up in the morning, do you do anything, or is that just kind of like home time, chill out, do your thing, and then you start your activation, like baseball stuff, when you get to the field?
Yeah, my mornings are usually I like my mornings to be pretty slow. So I kind of get up and just kind of enjoy, if I have family in town, maybe go grab breakfast with them, or kind of just use that time to kind of be still and kind of just watch some TV, or just relax a little bit. And then usually before I head to the field, I'll take a shower. Kind of just that moment for me is just kind of helps wake me up a little bit, and also kind of transitions my mindset into what I'm going to do to start my day. And then, when I get to the field, that's when physically I start to kind of get a little bit more prepared.
Yeah, very, very cool, man. Again, I really appreciate your insight into your life, into your professional endeavors, your career, your draft. Like, this is massive in terms of knowledge for all of us. As to what it takes to do what you do, and what it takes on our end to support you in that. I again always looked up to your work ethic, and have taken elements of the way you carried yourself into a career here, and going back, this is the impetus for asking you to be on, is all the utmost respect for having you as an athlete, and now as a friend and somebody I can call to say, hey, do you want to chat with a bunch of people that you don't know? Because this will be
It's been great. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, time flies. So I'll let you go. I'll be in touch with you. I'm going to reach out because I got a couple ideas that I want to run past you anyway. And this has been amazing to get inside the life of an MLB athlete. And we wish you the best moving forward, and hope the season gets off the ground here in the not too distant future. And I'm on it. Like, seriously, if you want a stuffed animal, I can do that. And,
perfect.
You might have people on here that actually would donate now too, because they're like, hey, I know John Berti was on, and I want to go see him play. So let's start a John Berti stuffy section.
Awesome.
Like Sal's pal.
Sounds great.
Like Sal Fasano used to have. But
there you go. Yeah, that's right.
Berti's buddies. How about that?
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
There you go.
All right, man. Well, listen, really, really appreciate it. Not to minimize your time and effort. Keep it up, man. Love seeing you from a distance. Love being in the dugout with you. But look forward to seeing you again down the road playing live.
Yeah, thanks again for having me, and thanks for everyone for listening, for showing up. And it's been a lot of fun. I hope it's helped.
Yeah, definitely will. Definitely has. And for everybody else who's on here, this has been Let's Chat, an athletic therapy roundtable, session 21. The quiz is up in the chat. I will hit stop now, and I'll be hanging out for a few minutes after this if anybody wants to hang on. John, again, man, thank you so much. I'll let you go, and we'll catch up in the next couple of days.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you. Good night, everybody. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of this community. Check us out online, firststartherapy.com. That's FIRSTAR therapy.com. Or email us with feedback, consult@firststartherapy.com. CONSULT@firststartherapy.com. On Instagram @firststar.therapy, and our podcast host @letschat.at. This is First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast.